Alright, this is a reincarnation reading for Libra. Um, it's a fun one. It's a party trick for some psychics to do at parties. But as far as I'm concerned, it's great character development for a novel or something. So, it's all for fun. Don't have to take any of this seriously. Don't have to get triggered. Um, just fun. You know, it's something to think about. Usually I use these questions on a Ouija board. I found this on like a box of old um, tarot cards that I had in storage for a while. So, antique, these questions, pretty good for anybody wanting to use the questions for any other type of reading. So, anyway, let's get started with the first reading. Um, First question. First reading. Okay. Um, okay. Who were you in a past life? We have no Libra, so you didn't have Libra in your chart, I don't believe. So there's losing a legal battle, resentful, rejection, inability to communicate, a season of the fall arena. So around autumn, everything fell apart in your past life. And you were born May 21st through the 30th of May, so in that area. So I think it's either Gemini or Taurus um, arena, so I think it's Gemini. Anyway, so Gemini, everything kind of fell apart in your past life. Um, this might have been like an overall case, or it could have been a a case of a major event where it was like, either Holocaust survivors wanted to sue Germany for whatever reason and all this other stuff. So it's kind of one of those cases where it was like a class action suit that might have fell apart, or it might have been rejected by the public because of other things that were going on at the time. So number two, were you married? Yes, but you were lower middle class or like middle class, middle class. There's no Capricorn, so this person was kind of not well grounded. I feel like they might have been kind of like going to one business to the next or one job to the next. No real stability. It was just like in kind of traveling around to do jobs. So there's no Capricorn and Mars. Capricorns and Mars are like one of those people that's like, all right, so you need all this. I'm gonna go out and get this plus a little bit more. That's kind of what Capricorn and Mars is. They overzealous when it comes to things. Um, so number three, we have, were you happy in a past life? Yes, you were. I believe that your spouse, since they took on a lot of jobs, or they might have had really, like, you know, stable income, it allowed you to have a lot of really nice things. Um, but I do feel at times it was kind of like touch and go there. But you had a happy life. You had some good memories. All right. So number four. Number four is, what kind of work did you do in your past life? Um, so we have no Ace of Wands and we have no Leo in this case. So, unfairness, unstoppable emotions, and carelessness. So, I feel like you might have been like a waiter, waitress, or you might have had like kind of like barkeeping skills or like maid service skills, which it's not bad, but a lot of times you have to deal with a lot of people. People want certain things done a certain way. You might have kind of been an underling at that point in time, so people look down upon you for whatever reason, either religious or work stats or where you fell in the food chain of employment. So, and with employment, everybody gets paid, everybody eats. It's like it doesn't matter. But for some people, it's everything. It's bullshit. Anyway, number 5, we have, were you an honorable person in your past life? And the answer is no, for whatever reason. So there is no Aquarius moon and there's no Libra justification. I feel like there might have been a point in your past where you did have to steal to survive. Or you probably weren't liked by a lot of people because of religious standings. So, for whatever reason, there was a lot of people that didn't justify you being, employed. So, there might have been a lot of people that were against you. Uh, yeah. I feel like this might be like a gypsy situation where you were traveling around trying to find work and a lot of people thought that you were thieves and things and that you did magic spells to seduce people and things. So like that's kind of what I'm getting. It's kind of like a Pinocchio type of imagery I'm getting. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff. So number 6, we have, what type of problems or challenges did you face in your past life? Um, Lying to yourself, avoiding emotions, fake interests, vivality, and you had strong health. Like, you were a fierce person to be reckoned with. But you didn't have any rebirthing qualities. Like, you never changed as a person. You never thought, hey, maybe I should do better in my life or I should do the right thing. You were kind of stuck in first gear or second gear, where it was survival and I'm entitled to this shit, like it wasn't any compromise. It was kind of, one track mind frame, taking care of a number one, as it were. But yeah, I feel like it didn't, you know, like things never changed because you didn't decide to change or get a different point of identity, which could have been a problem. Number 7, we have, were you a famous person? The answer is no, because there is no fire sign in your chart. There is no Sagittarius and Capricorn, and there is no prophecy of being a famous person. I feel like you were kind of like trying to survive, so you were kind of either peasant level or like really like working class people, where it was like you constantly had to work if you wanted to eat. You can't really take a day off. Um, Number 8, was your health good during your past life? Yes, it was, because we do have an Aquarius and Mercury. An Aquarius and Mercury means that you talked a lot or you did unique things to communicate. So, yeah, your health had to be like tip top shape. You might have been a dancer, you might have been like a belly dancer, or you might have been a like somebody that could do a lot of things, like a multitasker, but like I feel like you constantly had to be 100% like health wise. So there's that as well. Okay, so number 9. Number 9 is, how did you die? You hung out in the wrong crowd at the right place at the wrong time. So, I feel like it was kind of like an arranged like hit or a mob or like a riot. It has Leo and Saturn, so it's fire of truth, which is that event was meant to happen, but you being there might have been like, the timing is off. Like you might have needed to be there like later on. But I feel like, yeah, you were just there at the wrong place, or hanging around the wrong crowd. So number 10. Number 10 is, did you have a soulmate in your past life? No. There was no exposure and there was no Virgo Leo. So there was no grounding and no passion. There was also no exposure to the open world. So the open world would have made it so then, like, your person would be able to find you, your soulmate would be able to find you. Um, because you need to talk to a lot of people. And if you're in like a gypsy culture or in like a smaller subculture that is kind of like contained to a community, you're really going nowhere fast. Um, so, was your present love interest of this lifetime part of your past life? No, they weren't. We have Scorpio and Mars, so this is kind of a new thing out of the memory of Scorpio. Scorpio has to deal with like past things, so with Scorpio here, it's like, no, there was no sign of them in your past life. This is a new development altogether, so being exposed to new people is probably where you like to talk to like a bunch of people at a certain time, or you like to interact with people of different races, subcultures, and things in order to understand them better, because a lot of times you understand them more than you think because you've already been them in a past life, and that's pretty cool. So, number 12, we have, are you linked to your parents of today from past life? Probably only one of your parents. I'm not sure which one. I think it might be your mother. Um, but they're curvy. They have all different types of hair colors. They might dye their hair a lot. They have a heart-shaped face, or they're either happy, loving, or very compassionate. Like you could tell them anything, and they'd be like, "Yeah, that happens," or "No, that doesn't happen." But they're not like a water sign, I don't think. I think they have strong like fire sign or earth sign where like you could tell them anything and they'll be like, "Yeah, that happens sometimes." But you need to look forward to this, that, and the other. They're always trying to help you out in some way or trying to make you look forward in your life or have stuff to look forward to. They could also be an air sign. Air signs love to like talk to you and like tell you about their own experiences and what's going on there and how to navigate through life. They like to give you options on how to navigate a situation. So, it's probably probably your father, but it can be your mother also. If you were a single parent, your parent probably had to play both roles, or they had to be kind of like a fair negotiator. Number 13. Are there any other members of your family from your past life that are in your current one? We have no, but there is somebody that's a friend of yours. It might have square shoulders, they're well built, they're stocky, or they have a solid body. Like they work out or they work out very little, but they always look great. Um, but yeah, it would be a friend. But they're not like sensitive. They're kind of like, oh, we have to do this, and this, and then we have to go do this, and this. Like they're that type of friends, or they're just like all over the place. But in your past life, they were very sensible. Like they were very practical people there as well. So you have a lot of practical friends now. So yeah. Number 14. We have, what do you need to learn in this current lifetime? Um, we have sacrifice for the greater good. We have neglecting yourself and putting somebody else's needs first. You don't have to do that all the time, but you do have to kind of be humbled by the fact that you might not be the one that's hurting. Somebody else might need your assistance in a certain issue. So that might be good to, step away from your situation a little bit and just see it from another person's standpoint. Like, or work at a soup kitchen. There's also lack of motivation for success. I feel like you might constantly fall back into like old habits, or you might have kind of like a burnout syndrome where you do one thing and you're like, I can't do this. Like, it might be social media related, but you probably work a little bit, excuse me, a little bit on personal things and then do something else, because you can't be on social media all the time. It burns you out because we're reactive people. A lot of a lot of air signs and a lot of water signs. So like, you're a reactive person. You're not like somebody that can either burn out and just be like, oh, whatever. Like a fire sign, you kind of internalize a lot of issues and things, and you might have to talk to people about that. But yeah, you kind of have to break away from certain issues or certain things that might flare up. With me, I can do that in and out because I do have Aries in my sign. So I have Aries Pisces, so it's rebirth, and any information I take, I just, find a use for it, and then like it regenerates into something else. That's all you have to do, really. Number 15. Will you be reincarnated after this present life? No, because we do not have an air and a moon sign. An air moon sign is usually that you will get reincarnated. Because I believe in the next lifetime, it's going to be very, like, emotionally filled. With me, it's kind of all over the place. I could be reincarnated and it might not. But a lot of people will not, because it's like, it's not a big need for like emotion, fire, passion, and all this like weird stuff that kind of collaborates together. We're not building, we're not rebuilding the earth in the next era. We're kind of trying to be more understanding towards other people. And it's the breaking apart of aggression to rebuild an emotional bond between people. And that's what I believe the next major timeline is. So, 15. And there's going to be something that happens in your lifetime that'll make you, like, disprove your own belief system. And it's going to happen around, let's see, the vanishing of Venus. The vanishing of Venus is going to happen in the next 5 years. So, and it only happens like probably 10 days out of a year where Venus will be on the other side of the world. And, you kind of have to like muddle through that. But when Venus is gone, you're going to have kind of a crisis situation. And it's kind of going to be like, if you've ever seen like Armageddon or Independence Day or Bruce Almighty, and it's like the breaking point of everything where everything's on fire and then it all calms down when everything's back to a normal point in time. That's the point of when everything in your belief system changes. It gets mutated into something completely different. And that's where you have to take it upon yourself to help somebody else. Your belief system itself dies and you become more selfless than you probably ever have before. And that's going to be a big step. With other people, they might not understand your change in personality. It'll go from I'm number one to I'm number two in this scenario, because you'll see the crisis as a bigger issue than what other people might perceive it as, even other air signs. So, Leo and earth signs, I think Leo is probably going to be the one that kind of takes it upon themselves to ask you what's going on with you and that you're off. If you have a Leo friend or somebody who has heavy fire sign, because I think you have a few, they might ask you what exactly is going on with you because you're not acting like yourself. You're going through something called a quote transformation or a glow up, as they say, where you are more selfless than you've ever been. Like Leos are always, either in or out of that scenario. If it's good for them, they're going to do it. With Libras, they have to balance it out, and you constantly have to balance it between yourself and other people. But I believe the scales will tip where you're more giving to other people than you are to yourself. And that's where people are going to be kind of questioning your motives and what you're doing, and this isn't like you and all this. But that's going to happen when Venus is away from like your current state right now. It doesn't matter if you're in the United States or somewhere else. But when Venus moves out of like um, the sky from where you can see it in the night sky, I believe that a lot of things, that you thought were important will not be important anymore. So that's something to look at, and that's going to be your turning point in your whole existence. But this is for fun, this reading, so um, it may change your perspective around that time. But a lot of times, what happens is that you'll go through that cycle again and again, because a lot of Libras have a blocked Venus. A blocked Venus means like you don't get married or whatever, but it can also mean that um, you don't feel abundant either. So depending on where you find yourself, having a Venus blocked, Venus is kind of Libra, Taurus energy. So if that's blocked, then there's like an identity crisis. So it's that type of thing with a lot of Libras in this scenario. Anyway, hopefully this helped you out in some way, shape, or form. You learned a little bit about yourself and about storytelling. With me, I love stories. But and take care of yourself. Take care of everybody. And do something nice for yourself. It doesn't have to be too big, too small, too whatever. It has to be something that would be practical. I think practicality is the name of the game at this point. But treats are treats. I like M&Ms. That's my treat of the day. But yeah, you can basically have. Um, I think the biggest thing for Libra, and I always give my Libra friends, is one of the planners with the writing area in it, the bigger writing areas. I don't know who sells that, but I feel like it might be necessary for your spiritual journey. Okay? Because I know you're going through a lot and it might be confusing at times. But it might be good to write it down to see how far you've come. So, anyway, Libra, I'll see you later.